Was awkward. Let's have another look at it.
A duchess stepping into Fashion Week is supposed to shake the whole building. Flashes popping, editors rushing, the room buzzing like something major just landed. But at the Balenciaga front row, the loudest thing wasn't cheers. It was whispers. Low, sharp whispers that felt heavy from the second she walked in. The kind of tension you can't see on camera, but you can feel in your chest. From the outside, it looked like a perfect comeback moment for Meghan Markle. Cameras lit up, lights bounced off her sleek black heels. It had that glossy magazine cover energy. But insiders inside that room were telling a different story, and the difference was hard to ignore.
I mean, yeah, the children were posed with teddy bears dressed in bondage-style gear.
What?
It was predatory. And Meghan Markle is accepting an award as Humanitarian of the Year on Thursday for protecting children online. She shouldn't be promoting a brand accused of predatory.
What looked polished on the surface reportedly felt complicated behind the scenes. Stylists later claimed the mood shifted the second she stepped in. Smiles looked tight, air kisses were missing, greetings felt quick and formal. One person reportedly said it felt like people were staring, not embracing. That's not celebration energy, that's watchful energy. Instead of warm welcomes, some described a room full of careful glances and quiet side eyes. It didn't feel like a fashion power move, according to chatter. It felt cautious. In Paris, silence can be louder than applause. Photographers did what they always do, snapping away, but some guests allegedly said the vibe felt flat.
How are you protecting children when you are promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
Now, look, it's not being received well, certainly not as well as maybe she would have hoped, with some people labeling it a Zoolander war.
Editors who usually lean in for selfies reportedly stayed back, almost like nobody wanted to be framed too close. In fashion, proximity says everything. One insider claimed the body language said it all. People stood measured, aware, almost strategic about their space. In an industry built on alliances and optics, that matters. Meghan suddenly seemed untouchable, but not in the glamorous way. Not because of headlines, not because of scandal, just awkward energy, at least according to backstage whispers. Then came the rumor that really got people talking. Backstage chatter allegedly described her presence as difficult, not because of behavior, but something more personal. Some started mentioning her aura, and then it turned specific, her scent. A few claimed it smelled like cheap perfume layered over stress.
She went round Paris in this car. She had her heels kicked up, and you can see that. A lot of people criticized her because she went near the tunnel where Diana was tragically killed. I'm not sure that was deliberate, but it's a lot of people criticized that.
While another whispered, the glam team looked tense, spraying and adjusting, joking, "You can't fix that." To be clear, these were rumors flying fast, not confirmed facts. But once gossip starts at Fashion Week, it runs. Whether exaggerated or not, by the end of the night, people weren't just talking about the runway. Designers debuted pieces meant to own headlines, yet conversations kept circling back to Meghan in Paris. Scandal can cool off. Bold fashion risks can earn respect. But personal rumors? In elite fashion circles, that kind of talk can shift how rooms respond real quick. Then another detail reportedly caught attention. In high fashion, clothes speak before you ever do. Sources claimed her outfit pieces weren't custom couture creations, but borrowed samples, possibly with tags still attached. No exclusive tailoring, no one-of-one moment. In that world, that detail can carry weight. Major celebrities often receive gifted designs because brands want that Starlink attached to their name.
Well, I think you've got to get the princess pouch, don't you? You've got to work on that. Brilliant Ben Stiller movie and those glorious moments as they strut their stuff, all sorts of things. That people come with their own prejudices about the megalomania, as I call it each time.
But according to whispers, Meghan allegedly didn't get that same red carpet treatment this time, meaning the pieces would return after the show. One stylist reportedly said Balenciaga didn't crown her, they tolerated her. That quote traveled fast, though again, it remains insider talk, not official confirmation. Still, Meghan kept her posture strong, smiling wide, posing clean, moving like she owned every camera angle. On film, she looked polished and confident, but some behind-the-scenes voices insisted Paris wasn't fully convinced. They claimed the royal glam image didn't match the energy backstage. Instead of looking like the main event, they said she looked like a placeholder. And in fashion, that sends a message.
Also, this is the same town that her mother-in-law passed away in. Prince Harry says it was due to paparazzi, and Meghan's literally chasing these flashbulbs throughout the city. And then, she's 1 mile away in that video from where Princess Diana, had her last breath, lost her life.
Without anyone saying it out loud, the gap between expectation and reality reportedly felt huge. Meghan appeared to aim for a reset moment, a rebirth, a bold statement. But according to The Buzz, Paris responded with something sharper, a reminder that reputation in that city is earned slowly, not assumed overnight. And the whispers didn't stop at the venue doors. When she left, a new rumor started circulating, darker, more emotional. After the show, most assumed her car would quietly head back to her hotel. Instead, word spread that her route allegedly passed through the Alma Tunnel, the location tied to Princess Diana's tragic accident. Some called it coincidence, but one fashion journalist reportedly said, "In this city, nothing is coincidence." Her team responded quickly and clearly. They stated Meghan didn't know the historical link and that it was simply the fastest route available. Direct, firm, straight to the point. Still, longtime royal watchers had opinions. Over the years, former associates have claimed she studied Princess Diana's life closely. Some alleged she rewatched public footage and read biographies deeply, paying attention to timelines and details. None of that proves intent, and it's important not to jump to conclusions. But when history, symbolism, and public image mix in Paris, conversation is guaranteed, and conversation is exactly what followed. So the big question blew up everywhere. How could she not know? One commentator said, "This is a woman who knows her symbols." And that tunnel? It's one of the most emotionally charged symbols in modern royal history. Online communities grabbed the story instantly, and the internet did what it always does when tension hits. It moved fast, and it moved loud. TikTok edits started surfacing within hours. Clips of Meghan's car driving through the Alma Tunnel were placed next to footage connected to Princess Diana's final night, all layered with dramatic music that made everything feel heavier. The videos didn't directly accuse anyone, but the suggestion felt obvious and powerful. That kind of editing can shape how people feel without ever saying a single direct claim. On X, hashtags started trending hard. Some users called her fearless, others called it calculated. One post that spread everywhere read, "It's one thing to admire Diana, it's another to cosplay her tragedy." That line took off fast. It shifted quiet side-eyes into loud outrage mixed with disbelief. Exactly the type of viral reaction no PR team can fully contain once it catches fire. For Paris, the moment reportedly hit deep. The city has long held affection for Diana. For many locals, her memory carries weight and respect. The Alma Tunnel isn't just a landmark, it represents loss in history. Local tabloids ran bold headlines questioning motives, while international outlets used careful wording, raising questions without making direct accusations. But even cautious phrasing can spark strong reactions. Some reports hinted the drive might not have been random. One paper wrote it was careful not to accuse, but unwilling to dismiss. That gray zone made everything feel even more intense. Behind the scenes, fashion insiders were allegedly connecting dots, whispering about strategy and long-term image building. Why take a route tied to such a powerful memory? Why continue comparisons to Diana's legacy? One editor reportedly told colleagues, "It's not branding, it's obsession." That quote moved quickly, adding more heat to an already charged conversation. According to critics, the Paris trip didn't look like it was only about fashion headlines. They argued it felt like part of a bigger effort to reshape a narrative, one symbolic moment at a time. But instead of admiration, some viewers said it highlighted the distance between legacy and public perception. That contrast hit hard. Longtime Diana. Supporters reacted emotionally online. Comment sections filled up fast. Some posts were blunt. Diana was loved, Meghan is pretending. Others turned attention toward Prince Harry, questioning how he felt about the tunnel connection. One viral comment read, "If Harry cries when he talks about that tunnel, how could she treat it like a photo op?" That single line triggered thousands of replies and heated debates across platforms. By the end of Fashion Week, Meghan's Paris appearance wasn't centered on couture anymore. It wasn't about designers or seating charts. It became about a car ride, a tunnel, and the memory of a princess whose story still shapes public emotion decades later. But the pressure didn't stop there. The next wave of criticism shifted away from symbolism and into something else. Accusations of hypocrisy, or at least what critics labeled as hypocrisy, playing out in plain sight. For years, Meghan has spoken about harsh media treatment. She warned about press pressure and how constant headlines can damage lives. She and Harry openly discussed fears of repeating painful patterns from the past. Cameras, rumors, non-stop coverage. They described it as overwhelming and harmful. Then, Paris pushed attention toward a detail some people had overlooked. When conversations revisited history, critics pointed out something uncomfortable. While British tabloids were heavily criticized after Diana's death, reports noted that some of the most widely broadcast images from that tragic night were aired by an American network, CBS. That connection sparked another round of debate. Years later, Harry and Meghan chose CBS for their high-profile primetime interview. The same network became the platform for their story, shared globally in a carefully produced special. Commentators quickly highlighted that link. "How do you condemn the press for exploiting tragedy?" one media analyst asked, "and then give exclusives to the very network that profited from it?" That question spread quickly because it struck an emotional nerve. Some reports even claimed individuals close to Harry had concerns at the time. Friends allegedly suggested that sitting down with CBS might reopen painful chapters. Whether those conversations were serious or casual, the narrative stuck in public discussion. But the interview still happened. Oprah Winfrey's cameras rolled, and the network connected in public memory to Diana's final hours, now broadcast Harry and Meghan's side of the story to millions. Supporters saw it as reclaiming their voice. Critics saw contradiction. And just like that, the whispers from Paris grew into something much bigger. Not just fashion drama, not just symbolism, but a full debate about memory, media, and motive. For critics, this wasn't just awkward timing. They said it looked like full-blown hypocrisy, broadcast into millions of homes, locked into primetime history forever. Online audiences caught the connection instantly, and once they saw it, they wouldn't let it go. Reddit threads started pulling receipts at lightning speed. Users lined up old CBS headlines from the 1990s right next to clips from Meghan's Oprah interview. One viral comment read, "She blames tabloids for Diana's suffering, but works with a company that showed her last breaths. How do you explain that?" That question didn't stay buried in some quiet forum. It jumped platforms fast, feeding a growing narrative that her public victim story felt carefully shaped instead of fully consistent. Industry insiders reportedly noticed the shift too. One Hollywood publicist told Variety, "Authenticity sells, hypocrisy kills." In that insider's view, the CBS partnership marked a turning point where Meghan's credibility started slipping. And when the Paris whispers pulled Diana's memory back into headlines again, critics argued that credibility dipped even further. Suddenly, it wasn't about fashion, choices, or travel routes. It was about integrity. Then, more reports began making rounds. Some claimed Meghan's speeches and humanitarian messaging were heavily team-produced behind the scenes. Others described creative projects as polished but not groundbreaking. Former staff accounts shared in media coverage portrayed her as demanding yet sometimes unclear about direction. These claims remained disputed, but combined with the CBS conversation, they intensified the perception problem. Once critics connected the dots, CBS, Paris, symbolism, they said the pattern felt harder to ignore. They described a Duchess highly aware of image, deeply focused on optics, yet inconsistent in messaging. And according to observers, Paris didn't just expose that tension, it amplified it loudly. Because when fashion houses choose who sits front row, it's deeper than fame. It's about cultural weight, influence, alignment. Insiders claimed what they sensed around Meghan wasn't star power. It was contradiction. And in fashion, perception is currency. That realization pushed the narrative into a colder phase. If the CBS connection represented alleged hypocrisy, the fashion world's response looked like something sharper. Distance from the very industry Meghan was believed to be reconnecting with. By the third day of Paris Fashion Week, the conversation had shifted completely. It wasn't about her outfit anymore. It wasn't even about the tunnel. Insiders reportedly started calling it the cold shoulder. Designers who normally compete for celebrity attention appeared noticeably distant. Observers pointed out gaps in group photos. One photographer allegedly said, "I've never seen a Duchess stand alone for so long in a lobby." That quote made rounds quickly and added fuel to the online chatter. When the images hit social media, they spread almost instantly. Meghan kept her chin high, cameras flashing all around her, poised and composed. But online, viewers zoomed in on one detail: no major fashion power players standing beside her. And in that world, who stands next to you can speak louder than any headline. Users began posting side-by-side comparisons. Meghan seated in borrowed Balenciaga pieces next to Rihanna in custom couture. Zendaya embraced by Valentino. Kim Kardashian surrounded by Balenciaga's creative team. The captions were sharp. One read, "One of these women was invited, the other borrowed the invite." That line exploded across feeds. Memes flooded timelines with hashtags like #EmptyChairEnergy and #BorrowedCouture. Suddenly, Paris, the city known for spotlight moments, placed Meghan in the internet's shade. The tone online turned ruthless. Even fashion blogs that usually stayed diplomatic started dropping subtle but pointed commentary. A French editor wrote, "Paris does not reward pretense. Clothes must fit the spirit, not just the body." Another insider described her look as assembled, not bestowed, which in fashion language can cut deep. In that industry, those aren't casual remarks. They're coded signals, because being seen as trying too hard can sting more than being ignored. And the tunnel whispers added emotional weight to an already tense fashion storyline, making every image feel heavier. Fans began reposting old clips of Prince Harry speaking about trauma, edited next to footage of Meghan posing in Paris. One viral TikTok caption read, "He cries, she poses." The clip pulled millions of views in less than a day, proving how fast online perception can shift. Some commentators pushed the comparison further. They argued Paris didn't just react to an outfit, it reacted to symbolism. One culture critic wrote, "Diana was authenticity in motion. Meghan is simulation in still frame. Paris saw the difference." That framing hit hard because it turned the debate into something bigger than fashion. Supporters pushed back, calling the backlash exaggerated and unfair. They argued the narrative was being stretched beyond facts. But critics stayed loud. To them, Paris wasn't just an awkward fashion moment, it was a spotlight. And under that spotlight, every partnership, every symbol, every past decision came rushing back for inspection. And in an industry obsessed with image, once doubt slips into the frame, it doesn't fade quietly. It lingers. This wasn't just about hemlines and front row seats anymore. Critics said it turned into a conversation about identity and credibility. The backlash reportedly stretched beyond designers. Whispers claimed some celebrities were quietly advised to create distance. One stylist alleged they overheard a PR manager say, "Being seen too close is a risk right now." In a world built on alliances, power circles, and strategic friendships, that kind of space speaks loudly. For someone whose brand has leaned heavily on relationships and visibility, proximity equals influence. When that closeness fades, leverage can fade with it. Online, the irony cut deeper. Some former supporters who once defended Meghan against the monarchy began rethinking their stance. One viral post read, "Maybe the firm saw something we didn't." That comment pulled massive engagement, signaling a shift from sympathy toward skepticism. That emotional pivot marked a noticeable narrative change. According to critics, Meghan wasn't just losing momentum in Paris, she was losing cultural traction. By the peak of Fashion Week, the real spectacle wasn't the runway. It was the growing sense that her polished image looked like it was cracking in real time. And when Paris dims the glamour, the world pays attention. The city has long held a reputation for shaping who rises and who fades in global culture. What followed reportedly felt even colder. After the lights went down and photographers cleared out, insiders claimed Meghan was left with something unexpected. Silence, not cheers, not backlash. Just quiet distance from an industry that seemed to have shifted focus. In fashion, silence can sting harder than headlines. Reports suggested her team moved quickly after the show, trying to secure brand conversations. But according to insider talk, doors that once opened smoothly didn't budge this time. One source allegedly told Page Six, "Nobody wants to be the one to take that risk, not after Paris." That quote captured the mood. Careful, guarded, icy. Critics framed the situation as bigger than one outfit or one route through the city. They called it a credibility question. Fashion houses trade in cultural capital, and some insiders claimed the Paris appearance appeared to drain hers instead of boosting it. Fair or not, that perception spread fast. Fans picked up on the tonal shift immediately. Comment sections that once overflowed with praise turned sharp and sarcastic. One viral meme showed her in borrowed couture with the caption, "Returned by Monday." The internet amplified it within hours. On TikTok, hashtags like #ParisExposed trended, showing how quickly admiration can flip into mockery online. For someone whose public persona has been built on global attention, that shift felt intense. The spotlight was still bright, but the tone had flipped completely. "She came for validation and left with humiliation," one user posted. That single line captured the energy moving across feeds. Even in Hollywood circles, whispers reportedly began circulating. Some commentators speculated that if major fashion houses weren't visibly aligning with her, studios and streaming platforms might become cautious too. One media analyst told The Wrap, "If you can't command loyalty in fashion, you risk looking like a liability in film and TV." That warning sounded serious. The speculation gained traction after reports noted Spotify had ended its partnership and Netflix had adjusted expectations. No immediate blockbuster announcements followed. Supporters argue these changes are normal in entertainment cycles, but critics link them directly to the Paris fallout. Suddenly, Fashion Week didn't look isolated. It looked symbolic, like a cultural signal to the wider industry. Paris carries weight in pop culture. The city has crowned icons for decades. Princess Diana photographed at the Ritz, Rihanna glowing in Dior, Audrey Hepburn along the Seine. But Paris also has a reputation for exposing anyone perceived as chasing a spotlight instead of owning it naturally. One French columnist wrote, "Paris forgives scandal, but it never forgives imitation." That sentence echoed across blogs and social media because it distilled the tension into one sharp line. Instead of reinvention, critics argued, the moment reminded audiences of ongoing comparisons she's faced for years. And that contrast became the conversation. For Prince Harry, the online fallout reportedly felt personal too. Photos surfaced days later showing him looking subdued back in California. Social media users speculated about whether he fully grasped the symbolism critics attached to the tunnel drive, or whether he once again found himself in the middle of a controversy not entirely of his making. None of that is confirmed, but online perception moves faster than verified facts. Either way, the narrative cracks looked visible to observers. The Duchess, who once seemed untouchable, now stood under an intense public glare, with mystique fading under scrutiny. And that's where the irony landed hardest. Paris didn't deliver the legacy reset some believed she was aiming for. She arrived for a glamorous return. What followed were whispers, memes, and a heavy quiet. The city gave her attention, just not the kind anyone campaigns for. When Paris changes its tone, the ripple spreads quickly. If one borrowed outfit and one controversial drive could shift the conversation this dramatically, many started asking what happens next when Hollywood's spotlight swings back her way. The real question now isn't about a single week in France. It's whether public perception can pivot again, or whether Paris marked a lasting turning point in how culture views Meghan Markle.